Okay, good morning, everyone. Sorry I was late getting started. I had a phone call that I had to handle.
Good morning.
Good morning, all.
Let me see who I am here this morning. Okay. Where's Saul? Saul, are you here? Yes, you're here. Hi. Okay, wait a minute. I want to make you a co-host. Come on, co-host. Make co-host. Yes. Looks like nobody's interested in Zoom this morning. Who asked me for the Zoom? Was it you, Arlene, maybe?
What do you mean? We all have Zoom.
Oh, great. One of the batteries in my hearing aids just died. This morning is not going well so far. Okay. Hearing aid batteries.
Oh, we're talking about hearing. It would seem to me that your eardrum, as you get older, would get stiffer and with age. And I don't ever hear about anything that you put in your ear that softens up your eardrum and allows it to vibrate more easily. Does anybody know anything about that? And it would seem to me that something should
I hear you talking,
revivify
but
your eardrum.
I haven't got the hearing aid in yet, so I don't know.
Yeah,
what
but other people
call.
are hearing me talk.
Hey, well, so far as I know, they haven't come up with anything like that yet. The best that they've been able to do is come up with hearing aids that are rechargeable. So when you take them out at night, you put them in the chargers and put them on in the morning, and
Yeah.
they only require about a minimum of 4 hours to get fully charged, and they'll
Maybe
last
people-
at least 16 to 20 hours.
Maybe people that
That's
make
what
hearing
I have.
aids don't want to have anything developed that makes your hearing better.
Yeah, I have the rechargeable ones, but I lost my microphone, my Bluetooth microphone receiver. So I'm back to, I don't have Bluetooth capability anymore until I get it replaced, but
You sound good right now, Stan.
okay, good. That's the built-in microphone in the computer.
So explain Bluetooth.
Bluetooth is a short-range wireless communication system that works for various devices. And I defer further information to our experts, David or Saul.
I think you said it well, Stan.
Yeah, Bluetooth is typically used for mice, keyboards, or other things that are just locally attached to your computer, but not with wires. It's just a way of getting rid of more of the wires that you have hanging around your desk.
Wireless. I know I use it, but I don't understand what it is.
Yeah.
My first use of
What sort of
Bluetooth
range
was
does it have?
to connect a flip phone to a remote audio device that hung on the visor of my car.
What sort of
Well,
range
was it
does
about
a
3 years
Bluetooth have?
ago they started putting the Bluetooth in the desktops?
There's been several generations of Bluetooth, and I think Bluetooth's been around for about probably 10 to 15 years, but it's just become common in things in the last few years.
Where we get the 411 on all the latest and greatest things to do in this amazing city, San Diego. From the newest bars and restaurants.
Sammy has her hand up.
Yeah, may I ask a question about the recordings that you posted last week?
Sure.
You said that you posted from last week, the show. I'd like it from 2 weeks ago on filling out forms, PDFs. Is that possible?
2 weeks ago, what was the subject that we had that week?
Filling out PDF forms.
Filling out PDF forms. I don't think that was recorded. If
It
it wasn't
wasn't?
recorded, I can't put it on YouTube. I've put everything on YouTube that was recorded.
Okay. Why didn't you record it?
Why didn't I?
Yeah,
I don't know. I didn't record anything until, except if somebody specifically asked me at that time. I
I'm
didn't record
sorry, I missed
any
that.
of these meetings. And now I've
I
started.
misunderstood, Hank.
Now-
I
now
thought
I am-
every program was recorded.
What?
I thought every program was recorded.
No.
Okay.
Just,
Thank you.
they are all now. This is being recorded. And now I have this set, so it will be recorded every time we start.
Okay.
Yes, Miriam.
I just wanted to say to Sammy that I had hoped that that particular meeting would be about filling in PDF forms, but it was not. It was about creating fillable forms.
Oh,
So
okay.
you didn't
Then
miss
I
what
didn't
you
miss
were
anything.
after.
Okay. Thanks, Miriam.
Okay.
I feel better. All right.
So we need another meeting on PDF.
Well, it would be nice to,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and how to fill them out, not create them.
Well,
And
okay,
Saul has helped me, but I'd like to see that YouTube. Yeah.
Who feels competent to talk about filling out PDF forms?
Saul does.
Wave your hand. Saul, did you wave
Yes.
your hand?
He does. Yeah.
No, I think Sammy waved it for me.
No, I did. That's for you. Yeah.
David feels competent to do that?
no, I was showing you how Saul was having his hand waved by someone shaking it.
Oh, somebody's grabbed his hand? All right.
Saul said he would do it. Yeah.
I think we better move on. We're up to 16 people. I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to mute all of you so that any barking dogs don't interrupt the video. And I'm going to play the first video on, I have 3 videos that I'm probably going to play this morning, and I'll show you what they are all about first. So let's see, I'm going to share my screen and no, I'm not yet. Well, yeah, maybe I can do that. Let's see. I'm going to share my screen and it just happens to be my calendar. And I think I can. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go to our website, I think. Yes, here we go. And if you want to play this, or if you want to play other things, where this morning's Zoom meeting is going to be about Dropbox. I don't know much about Dropbox. I don't like Dropbox, so I'm not the speaker this morning, but I did wander through YouTube and found several videos on Dropbox, a couple or 3 of which I'm going to play. And if you want to play them later, go to our website, go to events, which is what talks about what happens here on Saturday mornings, and scroll down and you will see here are links to videos that have been offered in the past. And you go all the way down here to, I really should have this in the other order, but I'm too old to do that. Here is in February 2022, which is now, here is a spreadsheet containing videos on Dropbox. And if you click on that on our website, a spreadsheet will open up. And here are all the videos that I found about Dropbox. Here are the titles, and here are the links that you can play them. The first one we're going to play is this one, The Beginner's Guide to Dropbox for Windows, which I will begin right now. It's 10 minutes long, and then a couple of others on which is better, Dropbox or Google Drive. All right, here we are, The Beginner's Guide to Dropbox.
Hank, if it's possible for you to hide that little control bar when you're sharing your screen, it would stop blocking some of us from seeing the full information.
I don't know how to do that.
Over on the far right where there's a 3 dots or more, you click on that, a drop-down menu, and it says hide the control bar or something.
Hide floating meeting controls.
That's it.
There you go.
This is the Beginner's Guide to Dropbox for Windows. And Dropbox is a really handy service that gives you some storage space in the cloud, and anything that you put in that storage space can be synced to all of your devices if you choose to do that. And this video will show you everything you need to know to get started using Dropbox. So here I am on Dropbox.com, and as I browse down the page, you can see some of the features and benefits of Dropbox. It is great for keeping your files organized and synced across all your devices. For me, that's really the most important thing about Dropbox, is if I put a document into Dropbox, I can access it and use it wherever I am. It also does have some good collaboration features, and we'll look at 1 or 2 of those in this video. So let's get started right now learning how to use Dropbox. And Dropbox has a couple of ways that you can sign up and start using their product. One way to do that is to click the sign up button, put in some basic information, and then click sign up. You can also sign up with Google, which will let you sign into your Dropbox account using your Google account. So that is one way to get signed up to use Dropbox. Just use this button here. But instead, I'm going to point out that, at least at this point in time, at the very bottom of the Dropbox.com page, they do have a button for getting Dropbox for solo workers, for individuals, basically. And then they also have a button for Dropbox Business, for businesses and teams, etc. And I'm going to click this button, Get Dropbox, and the reason for this is because it does illustrate some of the options that you have available. If I browse down the page here, it shows the options that I have. I could get a free basic account that gives me 2 gigabytes of storage space in the cloud. I could pay $12 a month, and in addition to what I get here in the basic account, I would get 2 terabytes of storage space and some other great options. And then there's a
That $12 is now $10.
professional account too. Now, if you're disappointed in the amount of space provided in the free account, don't worry about that. There are some great ways that you can increase that amount for free. We'll look at that a little bit later. So I'm going to click sign up for a free basic account, and it opens up that same panel that I showed a few minutes ago, and I can just put in my information and click sign up. Give me a minute to do so, and then I'll resume the tutorial. All right, now that I've set up my account, the next thing Dropbox wants me to do is to download Dropbox. And that can be a little confusing at first, but basically, even though Dropbox gives me storage space in the cloud, I do need to download a little program called Dropbox, install it on my computer, and that makes it really easy to access my files and folders that are in the cloud. So I will go ahead and click Download Dropbox. Now I'm using Google Chrome, and it put Dropbox in my Downloads folder. If you're using a different browser, it probably still put it in your Downloads folder, but if not, just locate it and click it to open it up. as you can see in Google Chrome, it kind of gives you a shortcut to it here. So I'll click there to open up the Dropbox installer. Now here, Windows is trying to protect me. This installer was downloaded from the internet, and so Microsoft is just trying to keep me safe here and wants to know if I really do want to open it. Yes, I do. So I click yes, and it installs Dropbox on this computer. And when it finishes, you'll notice down here in the lower right corner of the screen that the Dropbox symbol will suddenly appear. There it is. Now, you'll notice that it's grayed out a little bit, and that's because it's trying to connect. You can see it says connecting there. And so whenever you see that grayed out Dropbox symbol, it really does mean one of two things. Either there is no internet connection, or it's struggling to connect to the internet, or the second possibility is that you have not yet signed in to your Dropbox account. So let's do that right now. Here we have a little pop-up that congratulates me on successfully installing Dropbox, and there's a button to open up my Dropbox. But before I do that, I do want to give you a glimpse into the advanced settings. You can see by default, it's chosen the main directory, the main folder on your computer in which to install Dropbox. And 9 times out of 10, that's what you want. And so you probably won't change this. But let's say you have 2 hard drives, and maybe the secondary hard drive is extra big, and maybe you want to save space on the main drive. You might want to switch this and choose your secondary drive as the place to install Dropbox. It's really up to you, but like I say, 9 times out of 10, you're going to leave this as is. The other thing you might want to look at is this Selective Sync. And if you change the settings there, basically you can tell Dropbox to only sync certain folders onto this particular computer. Maybe the other files sync onto other computers, but on this computer, maybe I only want to sync 2 or 3 folders. That would save space on this computer. So it's really up to you if you want to look into those advanced settings. I'm just going to click that Open My Dropbox button, and it does just that. It says Welcome to Dropbox, and there's a Get Started button. This is just going to give me some tips. I'm just going to click Next to flip through those quickly, and I'll click Continue. And then at this point, Dropbox is trying to get me to sign up for a paid account once again. You can see here on the right, they're encouraging me to save some space by signing up for a professional account. If you do that, what it does is it makes all of your Dropbox files online only. They will only exist in the cloud on the internet. They won't really be on your computer at all. You'll see them. It says that they'll be visible, but they're stored actually in the cloud. But that does cost quite a bit. They have a temporary free trial that you can try. But for me, I am just going to stick with Dropbox Basic. All the files and folders in my Dropbox will actually exist on my computer and in the cloud. So I click Continue with Dropbox Basic, and it's now showing me my brand new Dropbox folder. This is a folder on my computer, and it looks like it's completely empty at this point. But I can drop things into this Dropbox folder, and they will instantly be uploaded to the cloud and synced to my Dropbox account. So let's look at that. I have just dragged my Dropbox folder to the left side of the screen, and I have my Dropbox.com account webpage on the right. And you can see what it says here. Open your Dropbox folder. It's open already. Drag and drop files or folders to sync them. And to show this, I'm just going to pull this aside a little bit. You can see there's a file on the desktop called Dropbox Tips, and I'll just click and drag and drop it into this Dropbox, and it's trying to sync. And notice here on the right, it says you just synced your first file. I can click Continue, and now I'm just going to go back to my Dropbox homepage, and in fact, I'll make that full screen so you can see that a little better. Here's the file that I just now put into my Dropbox folder on my computer, and it instantly synced it to my online cloud storage. If I click here on Files, you can see that there it is. So I'm going to go and close this browser window, and I just want to let you know that from now on, I can access this Dropbox folder simply by going down to the lower right corner, looking for the Dropbox icon, and I can just click on it. This pop-up appears, and I can click here on this folder symbol to open it up. And I can double click now to access this file. I can drag things into this folder or delete them out, whatever I want to do, and it will instantly be synced on all of my devices and also in the cloud. Now back in my Dropbox.com account, I want to show you a hidden opportunity that you have. If you wish you had more storage space, you can go here to your account symbol in the upper right corner, click on it, and go to Settings. And you'll notice that here on the Plan tab, if you browse down, it says Earn More Space. You can earn more space by referring your friend to Dropbox. You'll get a 500 megabyte bonus when they install Dropbox on their computer. So to do that, all I have to do is click Invite a Friend. And notice that not only do you get bonus storage, but they also get bonus storage for having used your recommendation. So here you can just put in email addresses of friends and family that you want to invite to Dropbox and send it to them. You can also invite them in these ways, through Gmail contacts, through Facebook, and probably the best option I would say is this one. I can click Copy Link. This link is generated, and then I can send this link to anybody, and anyone that clicks this link and signs up for Dropbox will earn an extra 500 megabytes of storage, and so will I. To help you out with this, I'm going to put my referral link in the description below, and if you click to sign up for Dropbox using this link, you'll get that extra storage. Okay, so that's really what you need to know to use Dropbox. I hope you found this tutorial to be helpful. If you did, please click the like button below and consider connecting with me on my social media accounts like Facebook, Pinterest, and Twitter. And definitely do subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos about technology for teachers and students. And when you do subscribe, consider clicking the bell next to the subscribed button. If you do, you'll be notified whenever I post another video. And watch for another video from me at least every Monday. If you'd like to support my YouTube channel, consider becoming a supporter of mine through my Patreon account, and you'll see a link to that in the description below.
All right. So that was that. I am not Dropbox literate. So I'm not going to, excuse me, I'm not going to field any questions. Let's see, where are we? We're here. And there we go, exit full screen. I'd like to go back to Dropbox videos, yes. All right, are there questions? Let's see if I can get back to, how do I unhide so I can, there we go. So let me stop sharing my screen for a minute. So everybody's back, and Will has his hand up. You're muted, Will.
Just a comment. I signed up for Dropbox and then discovered the fact that it's synchronized says that anything I delete from Dropbox gets deleted from my computer. So my question now is, I've got a lot of stuff that they apparently moved up onto Dropbox that I wasn't aware of this problem, and I don't want it deleted from my computer, but in order to open up some space on Dropbox, I need to get rid of it. So I don't know if there's a solution to that. I hope there is.
Saul?
It's just talking about what files you have in the Dropbox data folder on your computer. If you move those files out of that folder, then you don't lose them. And then it will synchronize and remove them from your Dropbox storage.
Well, that brings up a question that I had, which is when you add something to your Dropbox folder from your computer, does it move it from where it was on your computer into the Dropbox folder, or does it just add it in the Dropbox folder and leave it where it was also?
It makes a copy into the cloud, but it doesn't change what's in the folder.
But, well, supposing you have a photo in your photos folder on your computer, and you put that in your Dropbox folder, is it still in your photos folder?
If you copy it from your photos folder to the Dropbox folder, then it is still in your photos folder.
What happens when you do it the way they showed you, where you drag it into the Dropbox folder? Does that copy it or move it?
I'm presuming it's copying it. I don't know that it left his desktop, is what I'm saying. He had it on his desktop.
Yeah.
Ross is shaking his head a lot.
Well, so yes, as Saul is mentioning, when you copy a file from one location to another, in this case, what you're speaking of, Hank, is you're copying it to a location on your computer that's designated for Dropbox. Anything that goes into that folder then will be synchronized up to Dropbox. If you remove that item from that folder, delete it, move it somewhere else, then it is no longer in that Dropbox folder and then will be deleted from Dropbox.
And what that means is that if you have a different device and you look on Dropbox, you won't find it on the other device either.
Right. And another way is to go to just dropbox.com and sign in. And then just like what you do with email, you can see all the items that are there in Dropbox. Now, the only hesitation I have with what Saul mentioned is if you are using the version of the Dropbox that keeps everything in the cloud, you don't have a copy of it on the local computer. As soon as you delete it, it's gone.
Mhm.
I don't think I've had an answer to my question, or maybe I just didn't hear it. My question was, when in the demonstration he dragged that item from his desktop to the Dropbox folder, did it stay in the desktop as well?
You need to test that yourself, but my assumption is that when you are dragging the item, it will end up in both places.
I can help a little bit here, I think. If you left click and drag it, you're moving the file, period. But if you right click, you get a chance to say, copy it, don't move it.
And I
When
think
you right click, you can say move it, or you can say copy it. You just,
If you
make
left
sure you
drag
use
it,
the
I
right click.
think you're moving it. Is that correct?
I
Okay.
think if it's on the same drive partition, that may be true. If you move it to a different drive or drive partition, like a USB drive, I don't think it's true.
yeah, because by the default in Windows, if you just drag something, it'll do a move. If it's on the same drive, but if you drag it to a different drive, it's going to copy it.
So it's best to do what Mel said, right click and you decide whether you're moving or copying.
Amen. I used to preach that a lot, and I'd forgotten how important it was. Right drag.
So I think, unless I'm mistaken, it might have been Grace, she'll correct me if I'm wrong, who asked about Dropbox last week. So we might ask her if she has any questions, if it was her.
Grace, can
Yeah,
you?
it was me. And no, I don't have any questions. I feel like I'm in over my head, and I feel like I don't need to use Dropbox.
I'd like to play at least one of the other videos on that spreadsheet. Let me go back to sharing screen and sharing the video and getting rid of the floating meeting controls. And now for some reason, I don't seem to be able to, there we go. Yes, I can. Okay.
Yeah, I think it'd be
I think I
interesting
want
to
to play
see.
number 3 and number 4. Yeah, no, yeah. It's the third one, but it's on line number 5.
Mhm.
Have you seen these new AI?
Dropbox is one of the most popular cloud storage tools for businesses from small to enterprise. Like every software option, though, there are pros and cons to Dropbox that may or may not make it the right choice for your organization. One of the best ways to decide if Dropbox is right for you is to look at reviews from real users so that we can examine their use cases, along with the top pros and cons of each software option. Dropbox has over 1,700 ratings and reviews from verified users on TrustRadius, so there's a lot of data to pore over. We've synthesized some of the key findings from each of these reviews to make your purchasing decision as simple as possible. In the last year, over 50% of reviews for Dropbox have been from small businesses. This makes sense since Dropbox also offers Dropbox Business, which caters more to larger enterprises. That said, the average score for Dropbox among the 20% of enterprises that reviewed it was still an 8.1 out of 10. So if you're a larger business, you should certainly consider Dropbox Business, but if you have branches of your organization with smaller storage needs, Dropbox can still be a viable option that you should consider. Dropbox is a widely applicable software that can be valuable in a variety of organizations. This is reflected in the businesses that review it most often. Computer software, higher education, and marketing and advertising are the most common industries seen in Dropbox reviews. So it's a pretty big variety, and this is because Dropbox can be a valuable tool to any business that needs to store and share documents. Dropbox excels at several features. Over 400 plus reviews, Dropbox scored a 9 or higher for the following features: performance, reliability, access control, file organization, device management, and device sync. There are no areas where Dropbox is rated particularly low either. Its lowest average feature score is 8.5 for document collaboration. So Dropbox is a well-rounded software that covers all the essential features for cloud storage solutions and excels at document and device management. By aggregating user reviews, we are able to see which Dropbox features are most important to users and which ones are holding the software back from a higher score. Over reviews in the last year, the top 2 most appreciated features were usability, which appeared in over 35% of reviews, and device syncing, which appeared in over 25% of reviews. When users mentioned ease of use, they specifically called out Dropbox's good user interface on both the desktop and mobile application, as well as strong search functionality that helped users find the files they needed. When it came to device syncing, users loved how simple it was to sync files to multiple devices. So using Dropbox, you can work on a document on your home computer, leave the house, and see the changes reflected on your phone at the office. As with any software, Dropbox is not without its flaws. Reviewers noted high costs compared to competitors in over 20% of reviews. Similarly, weak collaboration features were mentioned in about 15% of reviews. Specifically, users frequently called out file previews as a weak feature of Dropbox and felt that they had to download most files to get an accurate idea of the contents instead of just looking at the previews. With all of this in mind, Dropbox reads as a strong tool for sharing documents and syncing them between multiple devices. On the other hand, if you're looking for a more budget-friendly or free cloud storage option, or one with strong collaboration tools, it could be worth considering alternative options. Beyond looking at an aggregate of review data from Dropbox, here are some specific quotes from user reviews. Andy Ryan, an engineer for a marketing company, had this to say about Dropbox. I think in most cases, with the circles that I run in, that Dropbox is a great solution. It works on all kinds of devices and also from a web browser. It can hold any kind of file you want to throw in it, and the sync options are robust and work really well. It's amazing for people who work remotely like I do. Veronika Baranovska, an inbound marketing manager, said this about comparing Dropbox to one of its main competitors, Google Drive. Our business switched to Google Drive, which is free. However, the search function and folder structure is pretty messy. If cost were no object for the company, I'd choose Dropbox in a heartbeat, just like I do for my personal work. And lastly, Charles Combs, a head of marketing, said this about Dropbox's support and security. Any business that needs to sync files and create shareable folders should consider Dropbox Business. We once lost hundreds of files because we didn't set our employee permissions properly, and someone accidentally deleted an important folder from their desktop. The Dropbox support team worked with us to figure out the day and time this happened and then rolled back our account to fix the issue. It feels good to know that even when we mess up, our files are still safe and accessible. If you want to read what more reviewers have to say about Dropbox and its competitors, consider checking out TrustRadius.com. All reviews published on TrustRadius are from verified software users who share their thoughts based on their use case and experience. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more content like it, consider hitting the subscribe button so that you never miss an upload.
Okay, back to Dropbox videos.
You got a lot of hands up.
There's lots of hands up, Hank.
Just a minute. Where is Zoom?
If you're looking for that control bar, if you press escape, it'll come back on the screen to stop
Yeah,
sharing.
right. There we go. So stop sharing. All sorts of hands. Okay, I'm going to have one more video to play, and it's the one that talks about how much it costs and how much storage space you get in Dropbox versus Google Drive. But let's go with the questions. Mel.
Will's first.
What?
Will is first. Go ahead, Will.
Okay, as I understand it, only the files that are in your Dropbox folder end up in the cloud. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, second, what if I have a document that I've done on Word, I drag it or I copy it to the Dropbox folder, it goes up into the cloud. But what if I go back and modify that document and don't drag it to the Dropbox? Does it get updated automatically, or does the old version stay on Dropbox?
Only if you're editing the copy of the file in the Dropbox folder will it get updated.
Okay. All right. Also, second question, how do you share your cloud with somebody else?
Meaning a file in your Dropbox?
Yeah.
Yeah, you would probably want to go into, I would guess you might want to go into your Dropbox account online, find the file there, and you should have options to share it, but you may be able to do it from the desktop. I don't know.
Okay, because that was one of the features that I think Stan and I wanted to do, was to share Dropbox.
The person in the video showed an example of where he got a link, but I think he might have been in his Dropbox account, not just on his computer.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, my question was about the quality of that particular video. It was very blurry, and the guy was talking much too fast, so that I had difficulty of getting some of the information that he was trying to give out. Did anybody else have issues with that? So
yes, I thought it was too fast too, but that's why the link is on our website, on the Seniors Computer Group website. You can go back and play it, and you can change the speed on which you're playing it while you're in the YouTube video.
And Mel, to your issue of fuzziness or blurriness, yes, that probably was seen by me and other people. I mean, it was in my case, and that is a factor of Hank's laptop. It's the graphics chipset and stuff. It tends to make stuff blurry when he's sharing his screen.
Yeah, both videos were blurry for me.
Yeah, same here.
yeah, but that was worse than usual.
Okay, Stanley.
Thank you. My reasoning for suggesting using Dropbox with the Senior Computer Group is my experience with using Dropbox and subsequently using Sync for sharing files for Walkabout. And in that case, I have files that primarily one individual will be managing, but other individuals like to know what is current. For instance, the database or the financial situation. But primarily a single individual is responsible for managing a particular database, like myself managing the database for subscribers in Walkabout. However, other people like the manager of the Wilderness Hikes group, which is affiliated with us, also manages that, and he's knowledgeable, and I have no qualms about allowing him access to that file. So he and I and others have access to my subscriber master database. And when one makes a change, it's seen by other people. And that was sort of what I had in mind for doing with Dropbox for SCG. And if you work the database, in my case, subscriber master is a spreadsheet, out of the Dropbox folder, Dropbox/Walkabout, as soon as I save that file, it gets modified everywhere. And so Don Peeler, who manages the website and Wilderness Hikes, can immediately see what I have made changes on in mine. And that's my reasoning for suggesting it. Since I got pushback, I find that simply having people like Will with managing the database manage it separately, and then when he feels like it, he sends me a copy of it. That's fine, but it's not immediate, and it just doesn't show me the information immediately. That's my rationale for my recommendation.
So how do I access your database, or I'm sorry, your Dropbox, or do you access mine?
When it's in the cloud, it's one and the same. When it's in the Dropbox folder, as soon as you save it, it gets saved every place. I don't know how else to explain it.
I think to clarify, if people are sharing files, they should each have their own Dropbox account. And that way Dropbox can track who's doing what to the files. And it also has, I think, a history, revision history on the files. But the point is that whoever sort of owns the file, or whatever you consider the primary owner, they share it out to other users via their email address for the Dropbox accounts for other people to access. So I don't know if that's clarifying it for you, Will, but the point is that you have your Dropbox, Stan has his, other people has whatever they have. If you want to share a file with the others, you invite them or whatever through Dropbox and have a link like the guy in the video showed, and then they can access your file, for instance. And then whenever you change it, they get theirs updated on their end too.
So you share a specific file, you don't share your entire Dropbox.
You can share folders, I presume. I don't know.
Okay, it's confusing.
Shouldn't be.
David.
All right, yeah, I was wanting to say that in some ways, Dropbox or Google Drive or what Saul gave set up for us at the Shepherd Center, which was Sync, they all do the same kinds of things. But if to answer some of the questions about, there's a copy on your drive, there's a copy in the cloud, and then there's a copy over on another device that has that. Because it's on your drive, if your network isn't there, you can still work on that file. There's an updated version on your computer. When you connect to the network, that file goes up to the cloud. And then whenever anyone else connects to that network, that file gets sent back down to all the other places. That's how they get synchronized, is they go someone makes a change, it gets pushed up to the cloud, and the cloud brings it down to all the other places. But because it's on your computer, you can work with it offline when you're not connected. And then when you reconnect, everything then synchronizes.
Patricia,
Well, actually, somebody already did. The first question was the blurry thing. The other thing is that when we're looking at all of the people that really like the Dropbox, they all seem to be engineers, and I'm not. So I'm kind of with Grace that I don't know if you're just just an email user and all that stuff, whether this is any good or not, or what does anybody recommend that's, I mean, in Walkabout, you're practically a small business. So it seems like it works for small businesses, but will work for regular people, or maybe it's in that other video, like what are the advantages and disadvantages? But so far, all the reviews are by engineers and people who are in business, and they already have tech support. So, if you don't have tech support, is this any good?
So let me just address one example of why you might want to use cloud storage to share a file with somebody. If it's too big to attach to an email message, but you want to get it to them, you could upload it to your cloud storage, get a link to it, just put the link in the email message to the person you want to be able to get that file. They open their email, they click on the link, they can download that file.
Oh, okay. Well, the first question from that is what is considered a large file? I mean, how large are we?
I would say officially anything over about 7 megabytes, technically, okay? But some email service providers will handle up to at least twice that.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Sal.
So Patricia, I just want to say, there's two reasons for wanting cloud storage. One is because it can function as a backup for the files on your computer. If your computer crashes, the files are still up there in the cloud, and you can get them back when you rebuild your computer, or you get a new computer, you link to that account, you can see all those files. The other thing is, if you work on multiple computers, you have a computer at work, you have a computer at your office, you have a phone, and you don't want to send the files to all those places. You just send them to the cloud, and everybody syncs to the cloud. So, and the other thing, and this is more like small businesses, when you have a team of people working on it, then each person in the team can see the version that's current. So guy A makes a change, guy B can then review the change, and they just look at it on their own computer, and it gets synced from one guy's to the others.
Well, about that now, what assuming you did that, and somebody updated your file, and because you have the links up there in the iCloud, well, what if you didn't like that particular thing?
When you're sharing between accounts, I'm pretty sure that you can share it as read-only, so they can't modify it, they can look at it.
Oh, okay.
One of the reasons I have my hand up, and one of the reasons that I don't like Dropbox is that when Stanley sent me a couple of SCG folders, all of a sudden my Dropbox account said, you can't see these because you are over your quota. I have a free Dropbox account. I have not signed up to pay Dropbox any money. It seems to me that I cannot see all of the folders that Stan has sent me unless I pay Dropbox. And I kind of think that everybody else in the seniors computer group is going to be in the same kettle of fish. Anyone have a comment?
Yeah, Hank, that may be how Dropbox works. I don't know because I don't use it, but for other reasons. But in the case of the competing other service that Stan mentioned, Sync, it does not double dip. Whoever officially owns it and shares out their content does not reduce the storage capacity of somebody else's Sync account. Okay, so that would not happen if you were using Sync instead of Dropbox.
I don't know what Sync is.
It's just another service, cloud storage service like Dropbox or Google Drive, etc., as David
Okay.
mentioned.
All right. Let me take my hand down.
Okay. Well, I've got, I already have, the iMac here. So I've got my iCloud storage there. Am I going to be needing, this Dropbox thing? Or what, why would I need it? In other words, when you said that it's up in the cloud, that's the iCloud. So if I'm communicating with somebody that doesn't have a Mac, can they get the link from the the iCloud storage?
Who's going to answer that?
Ross.
Ross had his hand up.
Got to unmute here. So you can have an iCloud account by just creating one. And you can put iCloud on your Windows device and then share files in the same way. Then you have an upload and a download folder in your iCloud folder on your computer. And then you can share the information, allow other people to see the information that's in your iCloud folder. But it all depends on, what you need to send to and what the other people that you are sending to have. There's all kinds of ways to do it. The one that I use, if you're having an issue of things being too big, and you're only saying I'm only going to send this list occasionally, then I use SolarSendIt.net, and that's a free service, and it lets you send up to, I think it's 1.5 gigabytes worth of information. You upload the file, it creates a link, you email that link to somebody else, whoever you choose, they then can download it.
Okay, so what was that? Solar?
Solar Send, SEND, IT.net. Again, it's a free service. They say they use solar energy to provide that services. There's no credit card. There is no sign up. You say, I'm going to upload this file to Solar Send It. You send out, it creates a link for you. You email that link to somebody else. They click on it and it brings down that file as a zip file into their computer. Then they have full control over that file, whatever rights. So if it's an Adobe Acrobat file and you put restrictions on it, then those restrictions come along with it. If it's a Word file with no restrictions, then you have full access to it.
May I suggest,
Solar only keeps it for about 2 weeks, I believe.
may I suggest the chat window for listing text information?
So the question is how long is that available? Yes, you choose how long that's available, from up to 1 week. It is not a place to say, I'm going to put my files up there to share to a group and have them available forever. It's just for sending a file. If you are having a file that's too big to send by email.
Okay.
I'd kind of like to, we have 3 more hands up, but I'd kind of like to play the one that talks about Dropbox versus Drive, maybe before the next 3. Is that okay with Alan, Mel, and Will? Nod your heads or shake them.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mel.
I'd rather finish this topic.
It's the same topic, but go ahead. Mel, you're up.
Yeah, if you're someone that does the kind of things I do, my wife does a lot of photography stuff. And we take the pictures in a very high resolution. So we be sure we get good quality. And sometimes we'll get picture that's extra good that we want to share with other family members so they can have it to print out and do things with. And a lot of the email services, you can't send even one of them. If you've got to spend more than one, it really becomes a problem. So we use things like Dropbox. I don't use Dropbox itself, but in order to send those larger files. And I have it frequently. So that's a time when you definitely need one of these kind of services. So you can get those larger pictures over there so they get the same quality that you've got.
Okay, I'm going to show this Dropbox versus Drive now. Just a minute. Share, unblock or hide, and play Dropbox versus Google Drive. Very short.
Have you seen?
In 2020, cloud storage is everything. From photos and videos to your music library, everything is saved on remote servers, far away from wherever you are, and accessed just by logging onto the web. Both Dropbox and Google Drive make it easy to store whatever you need kept in the cloud, but if you're trying to choose between them, it can be tough. Let's take a look at some of the key differences between the two to find out which you should use. Let's get the biggest difference out of the way first. If you use Android or Chrome OS, going with Google Drive is your best option. Drive is built natively into both of these platforms. It manages your Android data backups and is built right into the file browser in Chrome OS. Dropbox works on both of these operating systems through apps and web clients, but you're best off just sticking to Google's own offering. If you aren't an Android or Chrome OS user, your choice is a little more complicated. If you're purely after what can give you the most free storage, once again, Google Drive is your best choice. Google offers users 15 gigabytes for free, more than 7 times what Dropbox offers with their 2 gigabyte free tier. It's also easier to upgrade your storage with Drive. For just $2 per month, Google offers 100 gigabytes, and for $3 per month, your storage doubles to 200 gigabytes. Dropbox jumps from 2 gigabytes to 2 terabytes for $9.99 per month, which actually matches Google's own 2 terabyte plan. It is worth noting, however, that Google offers annual payments for all of their plans, allowing you to save around 16% over paying annually. If you're looking for the maximum amount of storage possible, once again, Drive comes out on top with a 30 terabyte plan, far above Dropbox's own 3 terabyte plan. Dropbox does have certain advantages, most notably syncing. Syncing in Dropbox is much faster since it utilizes block syncing over repeatedly downloading and uploading documents to save time. It's actually a major improvement over how Drive handles syncing and could potentially help boost your workflow, but generally speaking, you probably won't notice the difference in real-world use. And of course, this is all without mentioning Drive's ability to sync with Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides, along with apps like YouTube and Gmail. Dropbox does offer their own document service, Paper, to collaborate with anyone around the world in real time, but it doesn't hold a candle to Google's own Docs suite. Dropbox is far from a bad cloud service, and for anyone looking to avoid Google services altogether, it's easily your best choice. But if you're trying to decide between Google Drive and Dropbox, the answer is simple. Most people should make the switch to Drive. If you like this guide, make sure you subscribe for all sorts.
And out of here and stop sharing.
And that wasn't much of a recommendation.
Have two hands up. Alan.
I just wanted to go back to I guess the essence of this and just remind folks that there are a couple of reasons to use cloud storage. I wonder if Grace's original question really was just about cloud storage, and maybe that's the subject that should happen versus which one, because there's so many reasons to use cloud storage, and so many of you have brought up so many great ones for backups, and we even saw the use of it in several meetings back when someone was doing something with their contacts, I believe, and it's thanks to cloud storage you're able to get that and move it. But the reason for using your cloud storage is going to make a big difference as far as which of these will be useful for you. But access, sharing, syncing, the level of collaboration that you want to do, they're all things that you should consider. But there are so many options that are there. And just like this last video mentioned, if you're an Android user or even just a Gmail user, you've already got access to Google Drive. It might be enough for what you want to do as an individual. And I will also remind you that with whatever library system you have access to, please check in the business and career section there of the electronic resources to see if there is additional training there for your specific software application. There are several for Dropbox and LinkedIn Learning, which is available to San Diego Public Library users for free. And I do have a shortened link that gives that list of materials that I will say quickly, and I think it'll be an easy enough one. It's tinyurl, tinyurl.com/5C as in cat, 6H as in hat, T as in top, C as in cat, W, F as in Frank. And that will give you a short.
I urge you to use the chat window.
I would love to, but it goes only to Hank.
Well,
you won't all see it. And I did send a link there already.
okay, you sent it to me. Hold on, I'll send it to everyone.
Awesome. So if you click that, that'll show you the things that are part of LinkedIn Learning that you have access to with your San Diego Public Library card.
Okay, hold on. Here are the Dropbox and Dropbox adjacent courses available in LinkedIn Learning with the San Diego Public Library card.
Yes.
Let me see if I can copy this. Control C to everyone. Control V.
So Hank, are you sending it to our email?
No, I'm sending it to your chat box on blah, blah, blah.
Zoom.
On Zoom.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Let's see. Did I send it yet? I'm not sure I have. Let's try hitting enter.
There it is.
And there it is.
You got it?
All right. Okay, I got a question about that. I haven't done this in ages. I don't know if I ever did it, but how do I copy that big old chat thing? Or how do I save it?
You highlight it with your cursor and then type your controls key plus C for Charlie. Control plus C is copy.
Right, right.
And if you highlight it and copy that, it will be on your clipboard. Then you can paste it wherever you want with Control V.
Okay.
Or Command if you're on a Mac.
Command. Okay. Yeah, I got that part. I just
How come I don't remember to say it right on Mac?
well, the thing about it is that I don't know about this clipboard thing. I never really saw a clipboard.
Well, the command.
Could I put it on my desktop? Would that work? Can you do that?
Yeah, If you go into the chat window where the information is and you hover over to the right of it, I think you'll see there's 3 dots that show up.
Right, yeah, that was what I was thinking. There was another way. Let me, oh my gosh, what happened here? Oh gosh. Sorry, I'm working with my left hand and this mouse is never good anyway. Let's see. All right. No, I don't, let me see. Nothing there.
Another option, and I'm not sure it's available to you as a participant in the meeting, but if you go into the chat window again and go down to the very bottom right corner, there's another 3 dots. And you might have an option when you click on that to say, save the chat, and then it will put it on your computer for you.
Right, yeah, I was looking for that. I'm not seeing it. All I see down here is a happy face and some other.
To the right of the happy face, there's 3 little dots.
No, I don't have anything to the right of the happy face.
You may not, I don't know.
Neither do I.
Yeah, I don't have any of that. There's nothing to the right of it, and to the left of it is Dropbox.
That's okay. We got it. Okay. It's just apparently it's not available to participants in this Zoom account.
Okay, well, I'm gonna try. Okay, I'm gonna try the copy thing. Okay, never mind. Thank you.
Let's see, I could take this stuff and put it on the website of the Seniors Computer Group website.
Oh, that would work.
Let's see.
Well, while you're doing that, Hank, I might just ask Alan if he had anything else to say before we cut him off. He's good. Okay.
Okay, it's on my clipboard right now. I'll leave it there. Will Wakely, what do you have for us?
Just a comment. I understand that Gmail will allow you to send files greater. I think their limit is 20 or 25 megabytes. If it's larger than that, I believe Gmail handles that with a separate link all by itself. So you don't have to mess around with going to these other facilities to send large files. Is that correct? Anybody?
That's correct.
No?
It's a valid point, Will, but not everybody uses Gmail.
Everybody should use Gmail.
I wouldn't agree with that.
Okay, that's
David
all
does not agree with that. Some people hate Google. And
no, I'm just saying, people should use what they want to use. Size does not fit all.
Right. Oh, and by the way, speaking of size, Google Drive gives you 15 gigabytes of space in the cloud, and you can have more than one Google Drive account. I have 2. I have one for me and one for the Seniors Computer Group.
You get one drive for every account that you have with Google.
Yeah. You set up a second Google account with a second Google Gmail address, and you have 2 Drive accounts.
And
3
15
Gmail
gigs is a
addresses,
lot
you
of
got
space.
3 Drive accounts. Okay, Patricia.
Well, actually, I have a new question. I kind of forgot what the other one was anyway. So anyway, what I thought I'd do is, this is what I've done in the past, is I just copy it and I put it on Pages. Now, before I got the Mac, I had a thing for but right now I'm just at the part where I'm hitting the new document so that I can paste it into my Pages and then I'll have it. But it took me this long to get to the Pages doc. Now, when I had my Dell, I had a thing on the bottom. Maybe Saul can answer this. I had in the dock on the the taskbar, or the whatever you call that bottom strip thing. I had one where I could just access it directly, like right away, instead of going through the Pages and going through the new document and creating it and all this nonsense. Is there a way that I can put the new document on the bottom taskbar? Anybody know that one?
You may be talking about a clipboard utility that you had installed on Windows.
No, I'm on Mac. I'm on the,
I know, when you said when you had the Dell.
Yeah, right. Okay, so the The Mac doesn't have such a thing?
I think what you did before on your Dell was on the desktop, you had a shortcut to a folder, like going to Documents. Then, and can you do that on your Mac? Yes, or you can get there if you open up Finder and then set up Finder to open up to those particular folders of yours, like Documents on your Mac. And then you can go straight to that folder and then find the one that you want to open up, if it's correspondence or your Pages files or whatever. You can set it up so that that's where it opens up to.
Okay, so you would just set this up and then it would be done? Or would I have to do that same thing that you're talking about right now?
If you go to a particular location with Finder, and you know what the Finder is on the bottom of the screen on your task, on your launch pad.
Right.
Okay, if you go there, then it shows you where you're going. But again, it will go back to the same place where you left off. So if you go back there again, it'll be to the same place. If you navigate to somewhere else, then it will remember that.
Okay, so how do I set that up? I go to Finder and then I go to, oh my God.
Wherever you want to go, like to Documents folder under your name, under your account.
Okay, and this is just to put a blank page up where I can just copy something to it.
It's going to show you what's in that folder. If it happens to be a Pages file, if you double click on it, it will open up that particular file. If you want to create a new document, then you need to go back through Pages. And again, wherever you location was that you last saved something, it will take you back to that folder, say Documents, and then you can save there.
Yeah, okay. I was trying to get away from all that. Oh, okay. All right.
Done, Pat?
Yeah, done. Thank you.
Stanley? Unmute yourself, Stanley.
Thank you. Thank you for reminding me. I'm going to do my monthly announcement that next week will be our board meeting, and it will be using a different Zoom web program. And the one that you have memorized, you all have memorized in your calendar or in your emails, will not be the Zoom meeting that we will have next week. It will be hosted by the one that I have through Walkabout, and which brings me to my apology for yelling at people for not using the chat window, because in this version of Zoom, you cannot chat with individuals or everyone directly. It has to go through the director. We will be using a different version of Zoom that has more features on the chat window, has transcribing, closed captioning, and you can save the transcript of all the words said. We can also record, but I'm video record of the meeting. But I'm not so interested in that. We already have that capability. I want to thank Hank for putting that up in the link of his message announcing this meeting, for that link to the website. I mean, the recording of the meeting. But my point is that next week will be sure to click on the invitation link that Hank will send out, which will link you to a different web meeting. It should not look very much different, but have a few other features in it. And we will probably be doing that regularly on the second Saturday for the board meeting, because It will allow us to record a transcript of the meeting and have closed captioning and have the chat window so that you can chat with individuals or send a message directly to another individual. And
Stanley,
again,
please get with me by either very early Thursday or sometime Wednesday so that I don't go charging ahead in my usual Thursday email with the wrong info.
my intent is when I send the agenda, I will send the link, the invitation as a part of that agenda. And if you want me to send it again to you, but you will be receiving the agenda, I'll be doing that early this next week. And the agenda will have the invitation to the proper meeting. Will that be satisfactory?
Sure. Patricia?
All right.
I just had an FYI for everybody, but you know, today, February is museum month. So there are a lot of them are half off and so forth. And so the library most of the libraries in the public library gives out these passes. They're good for 4 people. And just thought since it's museum month, if you've got visitors coming in, they're ideal.
I have one other observation I'd like to make. Cloud file sharing that we've been talking about does not really make much sense for individuals unless you have multiple computers that you want to share files. So unless you have multiple computers, aside from your phone, that's a little different, but I really wouldn't worry about cloud file sharing like we've been talking about for Dropbox or Sync. So I hope that alleviates some concern about it. End of my comments. Thank you, Hank.
Okay, everybody. I think that's it, unless I see another hand in the next microsecond. Oops. Hello, Alan. Oh, and Mel.
Sorry. So I wanted to remind folks, I was trying to, that during the month of February, there are some in-person computer classes that are happening. And I'm going to try to get it into this chat quickly. All of the locations throughout the San Diego area that the San Diego Futures Foundation is giving these free workshops that are technology workshops. Many of them are going to be well below the stuff that I hear happening here, but there might be something of interest to someone. So I'll try to get that into the box, or I'll send the file to Mr. Drayton. And if he would be so kind to send that to everyone, it'll be a PDF file with the February calendar for the San Diego Futures Foundation. And hopefully if some of those work for you, you can take advantage of them. February 10th, here we will have internet safety communications. That will be a Thursday at 10 o'clock. And the time after that, so the course itself or the workshop runs about an hour. The guy is here, and actually he happens to be an Apple lover. So if you are an Apple user, he is there usually unattended with no one else. And you can get some free one-on-one time if necessary. So I will send that information to Mr. Drayton, and if he will forward that on, that will be awesome.
It's not there yet. Go ahead.
All right, thanks.
Miriam.
You're muted.
I know, I'm unmuting. I have a question for the question and answer session, which I never heard start. And this is a weird one. This is a Bluetooth issue, I think. I recently got very fancy hearing aids that do Bluetooth with my cell phone. So I listen to Sirius radio music as I'm walking along the streets of San Diego. And recently, when I turn my head, like so, a little bit, it cuts out. And when I come back, it starts up again. Any idea what's doing it?
I use Bluetooth. I use it the same way. And it's interesting that you comment about turning your head. Mine cuts in and out that I cannot figure out why. I'm using Sirius XM radio. Generally, I'm listening to talk radio. Occasionally, I'm listening to country music. It seems to me that when I'm listening to Willie's Roadhouse, it is more consistent. When I'm listening to POTUS politics for the U.S., it is dropping out for unknown reasons. So don't feel like the Lone Ranger. It happens to others. And I don't know about turning your head.
Well, I have managed to associate it with the movement because I can make it happen. Not always, but sometimes. And I'm wearing the phone in a little itty bitty purse on a crossbody purse, so it's hanging by my hip. It's not very far away, and it's annoying. And I'm also listening to Willie's Roadhouse. It's good for walking.
Well, with your audio, I'll just be able to fix that. Seems like.
I'm sorry I ignored Q&A. Will Wakely, you're up.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up was, are we going to have Q&A, and does anyone have questions? I have a couple of comments before we start that, though. One is we talked about PDF, free PDF programs. I went to a couple of those. They are free, but not easily free. They want you to sign up, and then they will give you your money back if you don't want it. So that's one caveat on that. The second thing I wanted to comment on was Gmail. I tend to clean out my Gmail fairly often, but I know some people, including my wife, that may have many thousands of Gmails on there. And the only choices you have are selecting individual pages to delete or delete everything. It would be good if they had one feature where it says delete everything before a certain date. That doesn't sound like a complicated thing to do. Does anybody know if they have that sort of feature, or if we can ask them to include that feature?
I don't see any hands. I don't see any.
Crickets.
Ross, I think, wants to speak.
Yeah, Ross.
Okay, so yes, I use Gmail and would recommend for most people that you have a Gmail account. It seems to be the most compatible out there and lets you do all kinds of different things. Now, security can be a question because they will say right in their statement that they read your emails and will look for keywords like saying Hawaii, and then you might start seeing emails about going to Hawaii. So, you know, what is those conditions? If it's free, how is it being paid for? Now, to your question about searching in the Gmail program itself on the website, yes, there aren't. I don't know of a way to search by date to say before this or after that, but you can search across the top for a particular email name or address or statement, say Bank of America, CVS, and then it will list all of those items. Then if you say you have, say, 350 of them from CVS, then you can highlight the box at the top. It shows you that 50 are selected, and then you delete it. You go back and you do the same thing again. If you do it a second time, I think it will come back and says, now, wait a minute, we see that you have 225 more from this same search result. Do you want us to get rid of all of those? And we'll let you get rid of them. But again, that's by name. My solution to the date issue is Outlook, because in Outlook, I can search by all kinds of different ways to that Gmail account and then delete before a particular date or look for things from a particular date.
Yeah, my concern was, you know, I have a lot of emails, not that many. I have probably 5,000 at a given time, but I would like to delete just those from, say, before January and get rid of a bunch of them. But I don't see any feature like that in Gmail, and it would be good if we had that type of a feature to
I
delete
agree
just
with you.
certain things, you know.
Gmail does not seem to have that. My solution is to use Outlook on my Gmail account for that feature of being able to search by date. Now, I've heard
And you can
rumor.
delete,
I'm sorry.
and you can delete everything before a certain date with Outlook.
Hold on, everybody. I think I can help you. Just a minute.
So in Outlook, yes, you can go in and say, go down to 4 months ago and tag that one item, and then go to the bottom of the list and do a shift and
Exactly.
mark it. And then you've highlighted everything from that date down to the bottom and delete it.
Okay, sounds
me-
good.
I'm now sharing my screen for, whoops, just a minute. I need to use the escape key and still hide the floating meeting results. At any rate, if we go here to Gmail, up here, it says show search options. If you click on that in your Gmail account, you can search by date. You can search within 1 day or 3 days or a week or a month or a year of
today.
a given date.
Yeah, that still doesn't answer my problem,
Yeah, that
which
doesn't
is to,
get rid of the old ones. It shows you from today to that particular time, say 1 year ago, not from 1 year ago to the beginning of time.
yeah, I'm trying to delete everything before January, for instance, and just keep the emails from January on.
Can I suggest a workaround on this problem? I have the same problem. I use Gmail and I go back and I'm thinking, it just occurred to me just now, what if I select on some subject matter?
Hold on a minute. Could you stop just a minute, Stanley? I'm still trying to answer people's questions about how to find old emails. I think I have picked a date here, for example, which is December 1st, 2019. And if I click within 1 year of that date and go and search, it is now loading all those emails from way back when. And then I think I could delete them. And then I think I could go back and pick another date a long time ago, and within 1 year of that, delete all of them.
So, sir,
Is there any,
you selected that and you did say 2019 is the year, but if you look at the top one, that's from 2020.
because I asked it for a year from those dates.
So it'll give you a 2-year
No, it
span.
looks like all I've got is a month from that, or,
No, you're only looking at the first 50 or so, first 50 of many.
oh yeah, 1 through 50 of many. So I can, here we go, more.
You spoke of it's in the search box at the top from 2018 through 2020.
So that's within plus or minus 1 year of the date he picked.
Yeah.
But you can also go back and just do that regularly and just go back, just like you did right there. Only I didn't put the dates in. I know you could do that, but I just go back all of my 100 pages of 50 or whatever, and then I just start from the back, and I just do the shift. I click on one, click on the top, click on the bottom, shift, and that removes them 50 at a time.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that's my point, is it's just removing them a page at a time. If your page consists of 50 messages, you're deleting 50 at a time. it's still not deleting everything prior to a certain date. My proposed workaround, and I don't know whether it would work, there's no way you can find everything by a subject line or just put and it'll find all your messages. What about deleting all of those? I don't think, can you delete all of those that show up and then go back and undelete, or it's in the trash bin and then go back to the trash bin and just restore those that are more recent? Would that work?
I think if you go in as we're seeing here, Google wants to do everything 50 at a time. If you do the same thing and let it search again and now show you the next group of 50 and then say to delete it, it will ask you if you want to get rid of all of those 364 that are of the same search results. But of course, then you can go back in and restore them from the trash folder if there's something that you put there that you didn't want to go there.
Right, you could restore from the trash folder, the more recent ones that you might want to save.
Yeah, I hesitate to do that on a normal basis. I hate putting stuff into the trash bin that I want to get back.
Yeah, my delete options is I click on select, and then it comes up and it'll select that page. And then it'll also come up and say, do you want to delete the other 150,000 emails that you
There
have?
you go.
Click here. And the
Yep.
answer is no, I don't want to delete everything.
Well, it's based upon your search request.
Uh,
So if you do a search request, as Hank showed us here, and say from here to the beginning of time, or 3 years ago, or whatever you want, when it comes up with that second question, then yes, you would want to, if that's what you want, then yes, go in and let it delete all those 350 of the old emails.
But why are we so fixed on deleting old emails? I have every email that I have ever sent and received in my AOL account. I just have organized them in different folders so that I can find them.
To me, there's two different types of people. I like holding on to everything forever. My wife likes to get rid of everything as soon as she reads it. I have mine is cluttered. She says, where's the email about? Send it to me again. So
Sounds like
there's two different types of people.
Sounds like you might have 2 or 3 wives and your wife might only have one husband. Sorry.
At a time. So Ross, you just be glad that she's not cleared you out yet.
I had to look every day. Yes, make sure.
There is a way to do what you're talking about. I used to do it a lot for another organization I worked with. I cannot remember how to get you there, but during the next week, I'll see if I can come up with an answer I can share with everybody.
Okay, Miriam, yes.
I just wanted to say that in addition to Outlook, there's another program that works very, very well. It's called Mozilla Thunderbird. It's been around for years. I must be using it for 10 or 15 years already. And it allows me to sort the list of in any folder of my Gmail. I can sort by sender, I can sort by date, I can sort by subject matter. And if I sort by date and I want to get rid of the old ones, well, then I just go to that part of the list and say everything beyond here out. And it's very, very quick. I'm very used to using this. I don't hear much talk about it anymore. It's the same company that makes Firefox. So it's a reputable company. So it's another choice, but it's similar to using Outlook.
Right. It's all what you get used to using. And then there's 100 ways to do exactly the same thing. It just depends on what's more logical for you.
Right.
Yep. It might be interesting to have a session here on this Zoom meeting of all the people who use really old programs, and we'll go round robin as to Who uses the oldest program? I
2, 3.
I will enter because I still use Lotus 123 for DOS.
Oh, I don't use it for DOS.
Patricia,
Yeah, I just have a question. When I search on Gmail, I think it's the Gmail, I have a couple Hotmails too. A lot of times I do the search because I'm always clearing out email because I've got thousands of them. But one thing that happens is if I'm searching, say, for, the senior computer group or something like that, sometimes what pops up is a senior computer group that I have in a folder. Now, I don't want those. So does anybody, it used to be, I don't know if this was on my PC or not, but you could put like, senior computer group inbox, and then you just get the stuff from the inbox instead of getting stuff from the inbox and the folder and all that stuff. So
Again, it depends on what tool you're using as to what search options you have. Within Outlook, the reason I mention Outlook all the time is because that's what my business customers use. So I'm familiar with how to do that. You have the option in Outlook to say, look in the inbox box, look in everything in this profile. You can tell it where to go. So when people say, I used to have emails and I can't find them, we go back and search and we find they're either in the trash folder or they've inadvertently drugged them to a different subfolder, but didn't realize they had done that. So again, it's the search tools within that particular email program.
okay, thank you. I'll check it out.
okay, do we have any more cues for Q&A? I don't see any hands. I see a smile from Alan. Okay, everybody. I am going to end this session and we will see you next week for a board meeting. Good Lord willing, the creek don't rise. See you then.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, Hank.
I enjoy this every Saturday morning, or you'd be sick of, or you'd be done with me because I'd be done with you.
I'm glad you enjoy it.
And I learn something every time.
Every
I
time,
do too.
every time.
Yep, so do I.
All right.
Oh, I'll save this for next week. It's a board question. See you then.